Girl, Part 3. We continue with the chapter The Little Girl. We have seen how little girl Kezia, she is damn afraid of her father. She doesn't want his presence in the house. And now suddenly she has seen that her mother became ill, and grandmother went to the hospital with her. Then it was she decided there were different sort of fathers. There she decided that McDonald's are different, her father is different, and are different fathers. Suddenly one day mother became ill and she and grandmother went to hospital. The little girl was left alone in the house with Alice the cook. So she was left alone with the cook. That was all right in the daytime. That was all right during the day. But while Alice was putting her to bed, she grew suddenly afraid. But when came night, she grew afraid. What will I do if I have a nightmare? She asked. So she asked Alice, what will I do if I have a horrible dream, nightmare? अगर मुझे बुरा सपना आया. I often have nightmares and then Granny takes me into her bed. I can't stay in the dark. It all gets whispery. Whispery means she says in the dark she gets all the low humming voices. डर जाती है जिससे वो voices उसको समझ आती है. Just go to sleep, child, said Alice, pulling off her socks, and don't you scream and wake your poor pa. And Alice also warns her that don't scream, don't shout, and wake your poor papa. But the same old nightmare came. The butcher, with a knife and a rope, who came nearer and nearer, smiling that dreadful smile while she could not move, could only stand still, crying out, Grandma, Grandma. And again, when she was sleeping all alone, that old nightmare came. There was a butcher with a knife and rope and smiling that dreadful smile, that fearful smile, and she's only shouting, Grandma. She woke shivering to see father beside her bed, a candle in his hand. And when she woke up, she was shivering. She was trembling badly. वो कांप रही थी, and she saw that her father is beside her. What's the matter? He said. Oh, a butcher, a knife. I want Granny. He blew out the candle, bent down, and caught up the child in his arms, carrying her along the passage to the big bedroom. Now he held the child in his arms, और वो अपने bedroom में उसे ले जाते हैं. A newspaper was on the bed. He put away the paper, then carefully tucked up means covered the child. He lay down beside her, half asleep still with the butcher's smile all about her, it seemed. And he was half asleep, half awake. She crept close to him. Now this child, Kezia, she crawled close to her father, snuggled her head under his arm. She snuggled. Snuggled means she moved into a warm, comfortable position under his arm, held tightly to his shirt. She caught his shirt tightly, like a good girl. Then the dark did not matter. She lay still, and then she was not afraid. Here, rub your feet against my legs and get the warmth, said father. So father said, now you rub your feet against my legs, you will get little warmth. Tired out, he slept before the little girl. A funny feeling came over her. Poor father, not so big after all, and with no one to look after him. And she at once thought that he is a poor father. He is not so big, and there is nobody to look after him. He was harder than grandmother. Naturally, he's male, so he's harder than grandmother. But it was a nice hardness. But उसको वो hardness बहुत अच्छी लगी क्योंकि उसके father की थी. And every day he had to work and was too tired to be a Mr. McDonald. And so she thought that he has to work so hard every day that he cannot play like Mr. McDonald. She had torn up all his beautiful writing. She stirred suddenly and sighed. और एकदम वो सोचने लगी अरे she had torn up all his writing. She stirred suddenly. She moved suddenly and sighed and felt bad. What's the matter? Asked her father. Another dream. So father ने कहा क्या हुआ? Another dream. Oh, said the little girl. My head's on your heart. I can hear it going. So she said, my head is on your heart. I can listen to its pounding. What a big heart you have got, dear father. And so that girl said, you've got a big heart, Papa. I can hear the pounding, the beating of your heart. So she came close and at last she understood. She realized how important, how loving her father is, how affectionate. It was only that he doesn't get the time to be close to her. Otherwise, he's the same father who loves her daughter. So this is all about the chapter, The Little Girl.